It's a Christmas miracle. No, not my sinus pressure. That's just a freebie. I sat down this week with Sean Mullins. You might not know Sean, but if you're from the Florida Panhandle, you might know his work by another name, Pensacola Vibes. Sean started the Pensacola Vibes Instagram account several years ago. He's grown it into an amazing brand with daily photography and video of the Pensacola area, t-shirts, and a lot of mainstream news coverage over the last year. Sean's work is beautiful. It's focused on nature and the natural beauty surrounding Pensacola. There's a purity in Sean's work that we discussed in the podcast. It's a labor of love that's personal and therapeutic for him as an individual. Sean was actually kind enough to carve out time on his actual birthday evening to come to the studio and chat with me. We had a great time, and I hope you will enjoy it as well. So sit back and enjoy my conversation with Sean Mullins of Pensacola Vibes.
The man, the myth, the legend. What's up, Sean?
Just another day in the life.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
It's okay. I'm just living the dream and never waking up. So,
That's how to live.
yeah.
No, first off, happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
So for those of you playing the home game, Sean actually stopped in on his birthday night to do this.
Well,
So-
I'm having a couple other drinks before this drink right now.
So we are here popping a little Johnny Walker Black and talking about... What are we talking about?
I'm talking about
Everything.
drinking. No broken bones, but a broken body.
But no, in all seriousness, Sean, I really appreciate you doing this tonight of all nights. 'Cause we scheduled this weeks ago, and it blew me away then. It blows me away now. But, I just wanted to sit down and talk with you a little bit because you've just done so much cool stuff online over the past year through Pensacola Vibes.
Mhm.
And again, for those of you playing the home game, if you're not familiar with Sean and Pensacola Vibes, even if you don't live in Pensacola, Sean is possibly the best person doing any sort of marketing for Pensacola Beach and Pensacola right now, and he doesn't even get paid for it. And that really does blow me away, man. I'm not even going to lie.
Yeah. Well, I don't get paid for it in currency wise, but I will say that the best thing of Pensacola Vibes is the ego boost, is going downtown and going somewhere that I don't like. You talk about social media and Instagram and people that don't know who you are. But I go downtown and people that I don't know thanking me. Like the one time I was at Arise downtown, and some guy in a full-on tuxedo comes up to me and hugs me.
Oh, wow.
And I'm about to shit a brick because I don't know what I did. But he's like, "You're Sean, right?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Dude, I've been following Pensacola Vibes for a couple of years, man." He's like, "I just love your work." And like, that's like Niagara Falls moment. I like had to walk away from him.
Oh, wow.
Going back to my friends and like, all right, keep the composure.
Dude, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
But it's serious, though. I looked at the account today. You're up to over 16,000
Yeah.
followers now,
Yeah.
which
You-
for this market is huge.
When you screenshot and send that to me on Instagram, I didn't even know that. It's like, shit, well,
Yeah.
this is a thing that's just growing, and it's cool to have something that's my own. It's not an account that just reshares other people's stuff. I'm not saying that I'm full of myself for that, but it's just cool to have my own thing.
Yeah. And do you ever reshare on Pensacola Vibes? I think I've seen like one or
From
two.
time to time, very rare occasions, especially if it's a moment that I missed, like Laura Bogan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this gallery night, she's the featured artist, but like I've
Yeah.
reshared her stuff. I think I've reshared Courtney Sweden. Anything that I think is kind of major that I think I missed, I haven't even reshared my mom's stuff. So, but yeah, there's some very rarely, very, very rarely. And I'll have messages from people like, reshare my photos. Like, no one wants to see your body on my account. I'm sure people do, but that's not what it's about, so to say.
Right. I mean, and that's something that, what is really cool is the consistency you have, but it never gets old, because, I mean, first off, it's a beautiful place. I mean,
Yeah.
we're super blessed to live here, but I mean, your grid is gorgeous because it's the best of the area. We have the national parks with all the greens. We have the water with all the blues. We got, sand you can white balance off of.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just gorgeous stuff, and you shoot 99.9% of it, it's all you,
Yeah.
except for the occasional
Very,
reshare.
very, like, it's a little drop, but it's quality over quantity. It's not like just people throwing stuff out there just to get their name out there. I'm not trying to make it sound like I'm full of myself. I don't put my name on anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just something that's going on, and I think that's the best thing to do. And people talk about organic stuff, and that's why I try to keep it more organic than just bullshit Pensacola beach
Yeah.
sign. Like, give it a purpose.
Yeah, and that's something that, you know, you get on Facebook and there's, you know, for better or for worse, it's like there's a lot of pride people take in
Mhm.
Pensacola,
Yeah.
you know, and you'll have a lot of people who, when, you know, especially the older demographic who have seen the full evolution of the place, they'll get on Facebook and it's like they're the daily news. They'll say, you know, so proud for this thing that's
Yeah.
happening in our beautiful city, and it's very, very, very much like a declaration, you know. And that pride in place is amazing. I'm glad we have it. But you kind of cut through the noise, because there's a lot of people who do that. But like, I've seen everything from your personal thoughts to song lyrics to you know, whatever you're feeling, whatever's on your mind in the moment. It's very like, it's totally you.
It's in the moment.
It's
and
organic.
And I think a lot of people can see if it's not in the moment. It's very forced. And unfortunately, if you're in marketing and you're working for a business, I feel like no matter what you do, it's still not emotional. And people can, the majority of people can tell the difference. Some people, let's say they're sheeple, the sheep of the people, will not see that. They'll just see the beach. And they're like, oh, I want to go to this destination and stay at this place for that. But I don't know. There's just a fine line. And if you can find the groove, which I think a lot of my friends have, you have, where it's more emotion than anything. You go to Old Hickory Whiskey Bar, the photos that you've taken there, like, it's emotional.
Yeah.
And you have an eye for it. Even if you don't know it, it's just because you know, you think that's the best way to take that photo. And I think it's the same way. Like, I can go through all my photos and be like, this is emotion. This is just the beach ball. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
That's sometimes what I'm torn on with Pensacola Vibes, though, is do I do a not so great drone shot of the beach ball, or do I post a photo of a wave crashing with the Pensacola pier in it? And that's where I'm torn, but I usually choose the latter. So
Well,
I think it
comes
reflects
through.
it.
I mean, I don't think the pier was really the social media rock star it is now until you really start doing so much work in that area. I know a large part of that is Casino Beach Bar is right there, and
Yeah,
we're there a lot anyway.
Yeah,
But it's cool though, because it's incredibly photogenic, and I think you've been a huge part of the growth of its popularity as a photo op. You know, because it was partially because I did so much work these last few summers on the beach, just doing hotel stuff, that if I had a spare lunch hour or something, I would have my drone in the car.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, I really want to go shoot the beach, but that's really Sean's thing. And I don't want him to think I'm like aping his shots, because you do such a great job with that nexus where all the, you know, the Via de Luna and Fort Pickens Road all comes together.
Yeah.
And all that activity and all those beautiful waves and the pier, they're all right there.
Exactly. But it's hard to brand yourself. Like, you know, you have specific people that take the same photo. Like, I take the same photos of drones that anyone else does. Like, I try to make, for my personal account, more moody Pensacola vibes. It can get lost with, is it my photo or is it someone else that has a drone? It's kind of like Adam Moon. You see his photos? You can tell that it's his photos.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just some portrait shot of a girl and that's it. Like, those get lost. Like, you try to brand yourself correctly. The videos that I do with Pensacola Vibes, I try to do it more emotional, more slow motion, something that grasps it, more fluid. So I think, like I said, I think a lot of people attach to that, and they're proud of it, and that's the coolest thing. It's like, this is Pensacola. Try to make Pensacola look a little more interesting than it actually is, but I still think it's worth that justice. I think it actually is that interesting.
Well, and that's something I wanted to talk about, as well as the videos you've done. You haven't done a ton of videos compared to your photo content, but the ones you've done, you've just been unreal.
Yeah,
I mean, that one, what was it, Memorial Day or 4th of July, some holiday this past summer, you did one that you said it's some really good lo-fi music. It was just like so emotional.
Yeah.
It was really great. I mean, stuff like that is just, it surprises me that, and I have friends on Visit Pensacola. I'm not trying to call them out because I think they do a great job, but it surprises me that more tourist boards overall don't do more of what you do, where you find a personality and give a really heartfelt voice
Yeah.
to what's in it. Because you're not just, you're not standing out there in khakis and a polo operating a drone. Like, you're in the water half the time. You skimboard, you dive. Like, you're a free diver too.
Yeah.
Which is actually one of the first things that caught my eye with your work is a lot of people have Mavics. A lot of people throw a drone in the air and get good shots. A lot of people take pictures of the beach. But you really set yourself apart early because you're a free diver and you're actually underwater, 60 feet underwater, taking pictures that not a lot of people are prepped to take.
Exactly.
Which, when I'm a certified scuba diver, and my instructor was a very accomplished free diver, and just watching him when he would, just take a deep breath, dive under the boat, swim down 60 feet, and tie the dive boat to the reef, I could get maybe 20 feet before I'd start to see stars and have to race back to the top. And then I'd be laying on the boat, like, gasping for a while before I could go in the water again. So seeing you do that, I was like, whoa, this dude's legit, before I ever met you. And I think I actually saw you from a distance at Morrison Springs one day. You were there with Laura Bogan, and I kind of recognized you both, but I hadn't been introduced to you yet. So I was like, I think that's that guy. That's Sean. And then I went to Single Fin like a month later for a cup of coffee, and I recognized your tattoo on your left arm. And I was like, it was him. It was him.
It's that guy. No, I mean, working with waterboards for the summer camp, we would always go out where we use at Park East by the reef. And I could not, for the life of me, get down to that reef because I didn't know how to equalize. I didn't even understand what equalizing, and that's just me being amateur, and that's why people need to get certified. I haven't been certified yet, but that's just like, that's like not being safe 101. So I learned how to equalize, did that, and then everything was a challenge after that. I mean, it's the same thing with pushing photos. Like, it's almost, depending on the setting, it's the photographer, but it's almost like the moment.
Yeah.
Like, you can take amazing photos all your life, but if you're not in that moment to capture something, everyone else is going to miss it. Like that sun halo, or I think it's called a sundog, that I captured at Bruce Beach. I didn't even realize it was there until like my eye to the camera lens and looked up and I saw this ring around the sun. With the naked eye, you could see it, but your eye would obviously hurt standing at the sun. But it's in that moment. I was by myself at Bruce Beach. It's I don't know, you can say it's serendipity moment, like, kind of thing.
Well, it totally is. I mean, and that's something I wonder about sometimes, because for me, the biggest challenge I have is just making the time to get out and enjoy doing that again. Because, so the downside of what I've started doing for work is that it involves a lot of super early mornings, and sometimes. I was just in Sarasota yesterday, and I left the hotel twice in 4 days, and once was to go to another hotel to shoot other pictures, So it's like I have these 12-hour marathons where I don't see the sun. You have to
juggle your time and your energy.
Yeah, and there's just no energy left sometimes. So, I mean, my wife has started calling me kind of a vampire bat because of all the time I spend editing with, I'm wearing a hoodie, the AC is down really cold, and I have all the shades
that's
down.
Your comfort zone. I mean, that's the best. That's what I do. I mean,
yeah.
For you saying that my videos are more emotional with the songs, and same thing with anyone that works for Visit Pensacola, it might look more marketing for them in comparison to me because that's not my job. Like, I don't have to do that every day, so I'm not rushed into doing it. So if I hear a good song, my videos are based off that song, and I can, in my mind, I can see the rhythm, like the drum beat just going like that, and that's the sequence of every single clip, like, 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and like 3 seconds, and then it's a clip, then it's another clip. And that's what people like notice. Like, for some reason, I think that evokes more emotion. It's a bass like dropping, it's like boom, that's a clip, that's another clip. Like the last end of the year recap I did, where it was I guess you could say it's the climax of the song. That's when the Blue Angels flew by. And like when I watched that myself, like, once I did that, I got emotional. Like the first time in a long time, like I was watching, I was like, holy shit, like this is going to affect people. Like I have no emotions.
Yeah.
People think that I'm the devil, but I'm not. I mean, but after I watched the video when I was done, like it was the coolest thing ever. Like to be by myself and to know that I had like a 3-minute long video that you took time to doing it. You could tell that I wasn't rushing it. Like, every beat there's a no sequence. Like you see some videos of people around here, they have it right in the beginning, they're great, and then they just start slacking.
Yeah.
The beats are there, but they're like, oh, I'll wait for the third beat and then it'll be another sequence. I'm like, that entire video, which I'm gonna have to do before the end of this year, I have to have another one.
Oh, dude,
But
you got 10 days.
if you're anything like me, you're doing it within 4 hours.
Oh, I got a video to send you about that, and you're gonna love it.
Oh, great.
But
Is it Charlie the Unicorn?
no, no, George Rockall Schmidt. I'm chasing him down to be on this podcast because he's pretty entertaining. But no, what I was getting to earlier, and I have a bad habit of being too wordy, and I just never get to the point, like this moment.
Yeah.
Is you've kind of, in a sense, carved out a job for yourself in a lot of ways, and you have to be consistent with it.
Mhm.
And my problem is that, as crazy as I am doing other things, I miss being able to get out and pursue passion projects like that. And you've really made it a daily part of your life. And what I was curious about was, is it still therapeutic for you to go out there and do that? Like, do you find peace in that? Or are you kind of looking at your watch throughout the day thinking, okay, I got to get a sunset because I'm low on beach sunsets. I need to have that in my grid this week. Or how does it feel to be doing it?
Literally never think like that.
Really?
Literally. The only thing that will affect my life is if I look at my clock, it's like, oh shit, I gotta stop drinking. I have to leave you guys. There's a sunset, or the moon is about to rise. Like a full moon's about to rise. Like I'll leave friends, I'll leave dinner. Like I gotta go.
See,
It's never like in my mind. It's not like, oh, I gotta do a sunset photo because I haven't done one in a while.
See, that's really cool.
Yeah. The only thing I ever think about is I try to stay consistent with the mission. At least what I think Pensacola Vibes is that it's more about the nature.
Mm-hmm.
So if I do too many sunset shots or too many beach shots, I feel like it's starting to fade away from what I started Pensacola Vibes with.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing I ever think about.
But it's the beautiful thing is it's in the name, Pensacola Vibes. Like that emotion is inherent in the name. I mean,
Yeah.
I think you've created such a beautiful brand with that because it really is so aspirational to look at, just 9 days of your grid and you see just the best of this area without fail. And no matter what the weather is, no matter what is going on, you produce such amazing content regularly. And I watch your Insta stories. I know you're actually doing that. You're not sitting on, a 4 terabyte drive full of photos. You're producing new content all the time.
If it's trails, sometimes it's saved.
Yeah.
If I'm at work, if sometimes there's a day like I'm going to be at work and I'm going to want to go home and I'm going to want to do nothing. I'm going to want to watch the Never Ending Story and just eat Dairy Queen Chinese food and that's it. Like that's all I want to do. But yeah, like I said, people can tell if it's not real, if it's not emotional, if it's not in the moment. I can tell because of the likes. Like I can tell. Like that's like it's right in front of you.
It's kind of amazing to me how Instagram itself, for as much as they screw with the algorithm, as much as they kind of throttle up and down how much people see, you still get kind of a barometer for what people are into.
Yeah.
And that never ceases to amaze me is how it still is fairly accurate as to what is your most honest work. Mm-hmm. Because I've had shots that I've worked on for a day and a half, these complicated hotel photos or portraits that I thought were really cool because as the photographer, I know how much work I put into it. Cool, yeah. Yeah, but then I'll put it up there, and because I put that much work into it, I've kind of wrung all the emotion out of it by then, and people pick up on that.
Yeah, well, not, Pensacola's, you have the beach, you have Blue Angels, and not riding on the coattails of the Blue Angels, which I do all the time, which is fine with me because it gets my likes through the roof. But the first viral video that I had was me in the water, not freediving, but you can see snorkeling past the pier. I had the GoPro underneath the water and timing it, and I'm fucking freaking out because I'm looking at the GoPro, making sure the fucking red light's on. Because I can't tell you how many times I've taken photos and that little red light's not on or it froze. And if you miss a shot with the Blue Angels, that's game over. You can't call somebody, hey, can you do another pass on the beach? It's not going to work.
Yeah.
And so, I had the GoPro underneath the water, brought it back up, got the Angels go by, and then they shared it on their page. And that was the first step of going viral. And after that, it was just a snowball effect. Mm-hmm. And I was worried that it was going to stop because I know the Blue Angels the audience is not just Pensacola.
Right.
You can tell the core audience because, everyone beats their chest. They're from Pensacola. We're just lucky enough that they're here. Mm-hmm. But to have that skyrocket was like an oh shit moment. It's like, I have to do everything amazing from here on out. Because if it's half-assed or it's not good, it's not going to keep on going. And
Yeah.
everything after that just kept on going.
Well, and it shows in the work because, I mean, your photos stay consistent and get better. I mean, I've never seen them drop in quality, and that's been cool because it is so easy to get lazy when you're going. And that's another thing. You keep it fresh. Like I saw a moonrise you shot the other day. I hadn't seen you do that angle before.
Yeah.
Maybe you did, and I just don't remember.
No, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
It almost looked like the sun.
Yeah, it was so bright, and you had it super well composed with some dunes or something. It just looked fantastic, and that's, that speaks to people. I mean, not just people who are there for the vibe or people who love Pensacola, but as another photographer, I go out to the beach sometimes. I'm like, well, white sand, blue water, a couple of people I know walking around, cool,
Game
cool.
over.
But you still you push yourself, and I think that's one of the things that I not only like but just respect so much about how you work is that you refuse to do the same thing more than a couple times.
You have to, because you get bored of it. Like saying that, you say it's therapeutic, it totally is for me.
Is it?
Like if I can literally, people say there's nothing to do in Pensacola. As anyone that's a piece of crap in any city, like you can go out and find something to do. There's always something to do. There's always something to do. And I think Pensacola Vibes is an outlet for that. But I literally was like, oh crap, I've gone to this nature trail 3 times, gone to this one. And I was like, oh man, I haven't gone to Jones Swamp. It's the one I took the other day of like, Pensacola doesn't have any seasons. Like,
Yeah.
and all of the trees were like yellow, green, red. And the coolest thing is like all the dead leaves, and then you had yellow leaves on top of that. And to me, after doing this for a while, I see that and I'm like, that's visually appealing.
Mm-hmm.
This is cool. This made my day. Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And speaking to Pensacola, correct me if I'm wrong, you grew up here, right? Or am I wrong?
you're wrong.
Okay. I was stalking your Facebook earlier today to do a little prep, and I found photos of you in front of the Hampton Inn on the beach from like 2011.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mean to be too creepy, but
No, you have to be. You're doing your research. It's fine.
Yeah, but I mean, it was, and I couldn't remember what you told me because I know I couldn't remember if you came here or came back here. So what was your origin story?
The quick story is that I was born in New Jersey.
Okay.
Lived there for like 7 or 8 years. Moved down to Fort Lauderdale in a city called Weston. I went to a high school called Cypress Bay High School. We had the biggest high school in the nation. We had 7,500 kids. And our own MTV show.
Oh, you did mention that.
Yeah. And I went to JRTC. I got accepted into the Citadel on the West Point without applying. I decided to go check out the Citadel. Decided it wasn't for me. I want to do a regular college with 4 years of ROTC as far away as home as possible, which is a hugest mistake because that's like a 12-hour drive. The first time I ever did that, I almost fell asleep behind the wheel. My dad had to tell me to get out of the car. But after the year of ROTC, I just decided not to sign the contract.
Mm-hmm.
I decided that me being an absolute nerd and doing video games and doing little signatures in forums and downloading Photoshop illegally. You didn't hear that, Donald Trump? And I downloaded all this music illegally, like LimeWire, WinMix. What else was it? No, I didn't even have Napster. I'm trying to think of any of them. Was it Kazam or something like that? Kazaa?
I remember that, yeah.
Really got to get the wheels turning here. But after doing all of that, I
Man, I
realized...
missed 2004.
It's when times are hard for me, listening to Godsmack, just listen me down. God, it was so hard. Life is real rough for me. And, yeah, I just realized that I was a nerd. Like, I loved graphic design. Like, that was my passion. Like, just being mad because my major was history. Like, I was so bored. Like, it just didn't seem right. So I've been self-taught for the most part. I did advertising and a minor art at UWF. And I graduated in 2012. And I just have been teaching myself. I don't know if it's with my generation or if it's just because I'm a nerd or it's just because I'm an only child. Like, I always wanted to learn stuff by myself. Photoshop, everything, YouTube.
You graduated UWF in 2012?
Yeah.
So did I. We were in the same graduating class. I had no idea. That's awesome. We were in the Civic Center at the same time.
Yeah,
for
at the same
commencement.
time. And that was a long commencement.
Yeah.
Same thing with my high school, though. I think it was the same amount of time. But yeah, I just going back to Waterboys. I moved away from Waterboys for a year and lived in St. Pete at a print shop for a year. And by the time I came back, Sean Fell, the owner, was like, you need to learn how to edit videos because that's the newest thing. Like, photos are lame. And he was right. Like, edit it. Like, I had to. So I downloaded the creative suite illegally. And started editing videos. And it just went off from there. Like drones, I thought drones were cool, so I bought a drone, got into that. I went from GoPro to getting tired of GoPro to a camera to drone to that's my backpack.
Yeah.
So my backpack is a hammock, the drone, and my camera.
Nice.
And that's it.
That's pretty cool, man. I didn't realize that. Yeah, the ROTC thing is funny because talking to you, you seem so anti-authority. At one point, did ROTC seem like a good idea? Like what made that an attractive option at the
Call
time?
of Duty. I'm dead serious. Call of Duty. I mean, that's the whole entire thing. Like, I should have known from the beginning, me being a nerd. I mean, my grandfather was in the military in the Korean War and stuff like that. But, like, I love shooting guns, but I haven't shot a gun. Like, well, yes, I have shot a gun, but I haven't actually shot anything like a deer or something like that. I remember the first time I shot a shotgun was with my ex-girlfriend. I was so used to shooting pellet rifles. And I had that iron sight right up to my nose.
Oh, God.
And I shoot the gun and I hit the target. I was so excited that I hit the target. Next thing you know, I feel something warm on my chin. And blood is just gushing down my face. So that's my life.
You realize your nose was in the vacant area above your eye.
I didn't realize that was the intro of everything to get hurt on my body. That was a precursor to everything.
Oh, man. So I don't hate the whole Call of Duty makes you want to go to ROTC thing because I got really into Assassin's Creed in college.
Yeah.
And I actually spent way too much money on the replicas that Ubisoft was selling of the costumes the characters wore. So I actually walked around for a year wearing jeans and the Desmond jacket just to see who noticed. Because I was like, if someone realized I was a walking reference to Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, I was like, we can be friends.
That. It's like being heavy metal friends. Like that. You wear a heavy metal shirt. I swear to God, I went to Gulf Breeze Publix one time, and I was wearing a Lamb of God shirt, and some guy was wearing some other heavy metal shirt, and I swear we locked eyes, and he came up to me to say hi and saw that live concert. It's like one of those things, but
yeah.
But realizing growing up, same thing. Like there's an anime show called Gundam Wing, and I bought the Gundams, and I would do the models and I'd paint them. But I was at the same exact time I'm painting an F-14 Tomcat, so it's mix and match, same thing. Like Blue Angels. I still follow Blue Angels, love the Blue Angels. So I get to incorporate the best of both worlds.
Yeah. I mean, and that's, that's more learning because you kind of pick up on, I'm sure in some indirect way, just your brief flirtation with the military through ROTC. I mean, that gives you just yet another way of looking at stuff like the Blue Angels, which is such a part of, I mean, if you think about Pensacola, half of our identity comes from our hospitals. The other half comes from the Blue Angels because of, what they've done for the naval base.
Exactly.
And, I think they even, if I'm remembering this correctly, I think it was Transformers 2 actually shot some scenes at Eglin back in the day because just our military profile was high enough and the military incentives were in the right place for filmmakers at the time that Michael Bay's second unit was shooting at the hangars out there. I mean, it's crazy when you think about the Blue Angels. They're such a great display, for the military, but it also just becomes synonymous with this area, and it all kind of rolls together in the weirdest way. It's like if you think about it, if you go to the Middle East and an FA-18 Super Hornet flies overhead, you're diving under a table.
Yeah, exactly.
Over here, we run outside and wave.
I mean, we have a whole entire air show for every military plane, too. That's like, I get excited when I see a B-2 bomber or anything like that. But the other aspect is fear, not confetti.
Yeah. It cracks me up, but I mean, in a weird way, it just works. I mean, you've captured it in such a cool way over these last few years.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think it was the day after you announced you were doing T-shirts, I ran to Waterboys to get one because I was just, it's just been so cool to watch that brand.
I mean, that's the other coolest thing. Yeah, exactly. Something of your own, and to have so many people appreciate that, and then you see, like I was with my friend Callie, like on the beach, and someone walked by with the Pensacola Vibe shirt, and I had no idea who it was. And that made me want to cry too. It's like, oh, there's my baby. And it's grown to the point where I don't know people. I don't know. I can't tell you how many times people come into their shop and say my name. And I had no idea who the hell they are. And I feel so bad. I feel so bad. Any employee that works with me, that's the first thing I say. As soon as the door closes, I have no idea who the hell that was. Like, I don't. I feel so bad. And they're like, well, that was their name. I was like, oh, shit, that was their mom. Like, my friend's mom or something like that. And I just feel so bad. But it's the coolest thing ever. It's really is. To have something grow, especially in a small town like this, and to have it grow in a positive way. And to know that people don't think that I'm a dick. And they actually think I'm a cool person is the best thing. And that's very conceited of me to say, but it's nice to see that and have other people have all these businesses and they're absolute douchebags.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute douchebags. And they shouldn't get this attention. It's just nice to be that person to be like, I will help you with anything. You have any questions about how I took a photo? I don't care. Like, I have no secrets.
Yeah.
It's in the moment. Like I said, it's in the moment. Like, the way I take a photo and edit it, I can show that to the person.
Yeah. And, I can definitely feel you on that because, I've recently started thinking about, trying to help other people learn how to do architectural photography because I've been getting a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Same thing. It's not like it's anything special going on. It's like I learned a process from YouTube.
Yeah, but it's taking something that, no offense to any architectural photographers, but taking something mundane for some reason and you're making it looking visually appealing for some reason. But the person doesn't know why. It's because of the symmetry. It's because of anything like that. Like, you're taking the highlights and jacking them out, but there's shadows and like messing with that, and for some reason it makes that.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing what I do with landscape photos. Like, I edit in a certain way that people don't know why, but it's visually appealing to them.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's because it's vertical, like I said, when I told you on Instagram, if it's a vertical photo, more people are going to see it. So the chances of people liking it are higher.
Yeah.
But if the photo's not that good, mine's better than yours, and it's horizontal, I'm going to get the likes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just how it is.
Yeah. And that's, you're smart about that. And that's one thing that, a lot of people don't get. Like, I know people who are way better photographers than I am, but no one knows who they are on Instagram just because they're not consistent with it.
Exactly.
And there are people like you who blend the best of both worlds. You have your images, your captions, your philosophy behind it. It all comes from the heart. But you're also super savvy with how the system works, and you know how to get it out there.
Yeah.
And that's something that is hard to juggle because it's so easy either to get lost in the art or get lost in the conceit of is it being seen.
Exactly.
It's one eclipses the other super easily. I struggle with that every day because I'm like, okay, should I post this photo, which I like, or this photo, which I know other people like, and it's
always a struggle. I mean, it should be a struggle because if it's not a struggle, that means you don't care.
Yeah,
that's the main root of it. I mean, but even going to UWF for advertising, that helped me out tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
Target audience is a huge thing. What's your target audience? Oh, everyone. No, that can't be your target audience. You have to have some specific target audience. Like, obviously mine's Pensacola.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little smaller now. We've, made the target audience smaller. Like, then it's an age group. Who's going to buy my shirt? Not a 12-year-old. Maybe a 16-year-old. A 60-year-old? No. It's like, then you got the gap, like, closer and closer and closer to being something of a target audience.
Yeah.
So
sorry if I'm throwing you off a little bit. I'm not 16, but I like the shirts.
I got it at Hot Topic, so if your mom will let you shop there, you should go check it out.
No, I think that was the first time I met your buddy Blake was when we were at Casino Beach over Mardi Gras weekend. I think he like pointed me out in the crowd because I was wearing a Vibe shirt.
I don't know. I think it was either Blake. Well, Blake was probably, without a doubt, the one that would even shout or anything to say something about me. But I think it might have been my buddy Andrew that took a photo of you across the bar and sent to me. But the funny thing is that I left them and I wasn't with them because I was at Fort Pickens trying to get the fog roll in over the lighthouse. And so I got my shot. I was like, fuck this. It's fucking raining sideways. I might not even be able to leave Fort Pickens because the water's level's rising on the road. And I was like, all right, I'll be there at that. And I was like, oh, wait, I know that guy.
Yeah.
But it was still badass to see, even if it's my friends, like, it's the coolest shit ever to see someone wear my things. It's the same thing, like your friends sharing your photos for no reason. There's just no gain for them. There's nothing. Yeah. It's just nice to have people to support you.
Yeah, and I remember that weekend was crazy for a number of reasons.
Because it's Mardi Gras weekend.
Well, yeah, and I know it's crazy in general. I had a very I'm going to call it that weekend was very embattled for me for a number of reasons. Not the ones you think, but just stuff.
Life stuff.
It was raining sideways, so my life was going sideways that weekend. But we did make it out to the beach, and they canceled the parade because of that weather. Yeah. And dudes, mad props for going out in that weather to get the shot. 'Cause that's so badass. That's amazing.
But yeah, about wandering. That I know it's somewhat of a motivation when I know people aren't going to be there. Mm-hmm. I want to be there because there's a split second, which is the camera taking a photo. It's a split second.
It's a moment.
It's a moment, and that's it. That's all I'm doing is capturing moments, and that moment may not reflect the entire time of me being there, but it could be amazing, and that moment lasts forever in a photo.
Do you like it better when there's no one around? Like, do you like that
I do.
Religious solitude?
I do. There's sometimes when I go downtown with my friends, it's like I get tired of standing up and shaking people's hands. Like I get a little tired, but like I still love it. I still love saying hi to people. But therapeutic is definitely, like you said, the word to use. Like going out to take photos by myself is great, but going out and taking photos and videos with my friends while a great sunset or something like that, to experience that moment and to capture it with them is awesome. Mm-hmm. Being the photographer, no one ever takes your photo.
Yeah.
So you get to take photo. Yeah, I know. It's nice when people take my photo, but like it's still awesome to get an amazing photo of your friend and share it on Pensacola Vibes. Mm-hmm. And like they're in it, and it's it makes them happy, which makes me happy.
Yeah, I mean it really is fun. Like as an outsider driving through Fort Pickens, sometimes, occasionally, if I'm going through there. And this was one time in particular where I texted you directly to make sure it was you, but I look up. And that little wall right by the Fort Pickens gate, you and like 3 friends are just straddling that wall watching the sunset. Yeah. I was like, there he is, doing his thing.
And I was hanging out by myself, and I know who you're talking about. And they showed up, and they're like, yeah, we saw you. And we're going to hang out with you. So, and they were able to share that moment. Things like that don't like bug me. Yeah. If I'm by myself and people come up, it doesn't bug me. What bugs me is if you're a drunk asshole and you want to grab my drone midair. Yeah. That's what bugs me.
Yeah.
But that's not sharing a moment. That's making a moment and making me want to punch you in the jugular.
Yeah. Now, have you run into that? Have you run into a lot of people that run up to you because you're out there so much and the odds are against you? People coming up going, what are you doing? Are you taking my picture? Like, what's going on?
No, I've never had the problem. The only problem that I ever find is with drones. It's flying the drone. Do you have permission? I don't need permission because I'm flying below 200 feet. Yada, yada, yada. It's so far away. And then I have to explain. For some reason, every single time, it's when I'm landing my drone. Mm-hmm. Every time. It's like when I'm trying to concentrate and capturing my drone within my hand, because I can't land on the sand. Mm-hmm. I could if I had like a mat, but I don't because I know how to capture it within my hand. Every time. Do you have permission? Yeah. This is usually what I just say. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I mean, that's...
Cold Pence real quick.
This podcast is usually very apolitical, but you've brought up the administration twice in like 20 minutes. New record.
Because I know these are trigger words for people.
My lips and stats just keep getting throttled down, throttled down, throttled down.
My buddy came over to my mom's place for Thanksgiving, and of course my mom's there. He's like, you got to bring up politics, like the cliche. And then next thing you know, my mom and I just got caught up in politics while my buddy's just watching it. I was like, damn it, Jimmy, like, this is supposed to be a joke, and now we're just arguing about politics.
Well, it's kind of like that meme people make, you're tired of buying Christmas presents, just ask everyone who they voted for at Thanksgiving, start the argument, and then no one will want to talk to you. You don't have to buy a gift for everyone come Christmas time.
It's time to go home.
Yeah, but... No, I mean, it's just cool to, it's drones on the beach are so much fun. And, I've done them a lot for the whole hotel thing. And usually I'm totally within the recreational limit myself, flying low and slow and just making the beach look pretty.
There's a lot of flight traffic over there.
There is. I mean, the Coast Guard traffic alone will, I could go the rest of my life without trying to find a window to, send a drone out to get a view of a hotel or something. Yeah. But it's always like someone, usually a little older, people who aren't, completely inoculated against social media, Because people our age, we're so used to like social media and photos.
Exactly.
We're like, yeah, get it up there, But other people come out and there's always this note of extreme panic in their voice. Like, is that you? Is that you flying that, taking them pictures?
Yeah.
And it's usually someone who talks like that, who's obviously in from out of town or whatever. And I just, it just makes me laugh because I'm like, guys,
I mean, what are you supposed to do? You can't make the situation worse.
Well, I had one woman, I was taking a picture in a hotel restaurant, and I was doing long exposures for the express purpose of keeping all the people blurry so no one's privacy is violated or anything. Yeah. And I had a tripod and everything to do that. Excuse me. And
Got hate in your heart, let it out.
It's out. It's out there now. But this lady came over, and I didn't mind that she asked, but she just sidled over with this very condescending tone like I was her kid. She was like, so what you doing?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm taking photos of the restaurant for the hotel website. Oh, okay, well, my husband and I don't want to be photographed. I was like, fine,
sure,
not a problem, not a problem. But there's always this little bit of panic people have, and I don't know. I'd like to think that's going to change, as people get more and more used to it. And I've always wondered if, as much as you're out in these areas, if you've ever run into that, because I know a lot of the business owners don't care. They like the extra advertising.
Exactly, yeah.
It's just always that one person from out of town who, the only person who doesn't have a nephew with a drone. You know?
My life motto about anything is that dumb people do dumb things.
Yeah.
Not to say that the person's dumb, but they're not informed. And the best example I can give is a congressman asking one of the Google founders or something like that, one of the employees for Google, I should say, saying, "Is my phone tracking where I'm going?"
Oh,
He
I
said,
saw that video.
it's like, not technically, but if you agreed to something on your app, it's more than likely to track me. And he's like, I'm just asking you a yes or no question.
Right.
Yeah, well, he's asking you a question. Like, it stinks that people do not understand that, the grasp of that.
Mm-hmm.
They don't understand that it's just factual and it's code, and there's no way. I mean, I guess there could be a way. Obviously, if Apple wanted to, they could be tracking you. But honestly, in this day and age, if you're doing something wrong and they want to track you, whether it's by the law or not, they're going to track you.
You're going to get zucked.
Yeah, they're going to find you and they're going to get you by the law. But, I mean, anyone or anything could be listening right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I know they are.
Yeah.
I mean, Google Chrome, if you have it on your phone, you have to opt out of them listening to keywords in your voice.
But I want them to. I want to know what I want to buy, but I don't know about yet. I don't care about that.
I mean, as it is, our phones have been sitting on the table next to each other for like an hour now.
We're talking to a mic.
So now we're just going to see each other at the top of each other's Facebook feeds for about 10 days.
It's fine. That's cool.
I'll try to keep it funny. But no, man. I mean, where do you see yourself taking Pensacola Vibes? Like we're 10 days away from a new year. It's as of this recording, it's December 20th.
Yep.
Happy birthday again.
Thank you.
And in a little while, it's gonna be New Year's Eve, then New Year's Day, and then everyone's writing out their plans. My wife and I are working on a new business plan for our business. I mean, where do you see Pensacola Vibes is going next?
Right now, I think the only thing I want to expand on is the photos itself, selling photos, because right now, to keep Pensacola Vibes doing, it's like Wikipedia. Like, they don't get any revenue from it. I'm not getting any revenue from this. It's like zero the entire time. It's like in the gray area. My exposure is growing, but a like doesn't equal a dollar sign, so to say. I think I can make more revenue out of selling photos, and that's great for me. But that's the only thing I can see gaining motivation from doing this. And like I said earlier, my nose got deviated from the second time, and that's the reason why I started Pensacola Vibes. It's because I messed up my nose and I needed some money, so I started Pensacola Vibes in the middle of the night with the bottle clearance wine from Publix, and it did not pay for my hospital bill at all. And that's when it grew into something bigger than that, and that's the reason why it keeps on going. But as in for the next year, I'm just gonna keep on doing the same thing I've been doing. I'm not losing anything. It keeps me active. When I get off of work, what am I doing? Am I working because I'm doing stuff with Pensacola Vibes? People say, doing something that you love while you work is not really work. That's how this feels.
Yeah.
So, but I don't want to rush it. I don't want to make it into like a full-time money thing, because then it's going to lose its credibility.
Right.
People are going to be saying, so I'm just going to keep on keeping on.
You should do a book.
I don't know about that. I can't read, so.
Hey, you take pictures. You don't have to read
Exactly. That's what I'm
it.
saying.
Just look at it.
You just gotta sell some photo books.
But I mean,
Some
I've always
coffee
thought-
tables.
Yeah, I mean, a coffee table book. You could do one of those nice Italian lay flat books,
Yeah.
and people would pay $80 for one of those. I
Yeah.
mean, I think that I know Laura Boken just did a book,
Yeah.
and I haven't seen the book itself yet, but I've seen some of the shots. It looks great.
Yeah, I've seen all the
And-
shots and they all look amazing. But the same
Yeah.
thing, like, I need money to put food on my table to survive, but I also want to do what I love.
Yeah,
Just for someone to be negative for me to think that way they can suck it. Seriously.
yeah,
I mean, I love what I do. I love working for Waterboys. I love working for Pensacola Vibes. I hope
yeah,
for both of those jobs, it will grow so much where there's a lot of revenue to where I own my own place,
yeah.
yada, yada, yada. And that's everyone's dream.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, I look at, I think the ideal that I look at, every time I think about where I want my stuff to go, I think about Chris Burkhardt. Do you follow him on
No,
Instagram?
I do not.
You'd like his stuff. He's out in the Southwest. He's based in California. Does a lot in the Southwest, and the kind of content he does is like imagine Pensacola vibes, but with mountain ranges.
Uh-huh.
And so I feel like on a spiritual level, y'all would probably relate because there's the same. A friend of mine turned me on to him because I was talking with Ben Shetler, who's been on this podcast before, and he said you ought to look up Chris Burkhardt because he posts stories to his images the way you do. So I look him up on Instagram, and I find this really cool dude who has amazing credits to his name, shoots for huge brands, but he still posts really heartfelt stuff on these pictures of just landscapes that he takes. And if he's not like raising alpacas or hanging out riding bikes with his kids, he's in helicopters and flying drones. There's all this cool stuff in the mountains in the Southwest. And he has this really cool studio that has like a co-work space for a few other photographers, and just neat dude. Like the outside of the studio has living walls and all this cool, very, very Malibu kind of stuff.
Very Malibu-esque.
And he just seems to have it on lock, like that magic formula of just enough work to keep everything going, but still has a heart to it. And to me, that's super aspirational because that's what we're all trying to do.
He's trying to find purpose too. Like, it gives me purpose doing everything like that.
Yeah.
Like people that I see doing the same things that we do, I feel like it gives us some kind of satisfaction to where it gives us purpose. Like, that's why we do what we do.
And the comfort of knowing we're not totally crazy.
But I know I'm crazy.
But it's the good crazy. That's the thing. Like,
Are you my mom right now?
Best as I can tell, no.
No.
Stranger things have happened. But no, it's just you take on a project, and it's kind of like when you say you leave a social situation to go take a picture of the moon rising or the sunset. A lot of people can't relate to that.
No, of course not.
And they'll never understand what makes you do that.
Literally, Laura Bogan asked me today, "What am I doing tomorrow for the moonrise?" But
Really?
then she thought it was today, but I realized it's tomorrow night, so she's not gonna be able to get it tomorrow night. Or tomorrow's Friday, right? Yeah. So.
Yeah. I've been a day off all week.
Welcome
too.
to our life.
Yeah.
Or any adult life. But yeah, she can relate to that, and I can too, and that excites me. It's like, oh yeah, I know what I want to do. I don't want to go make plans and go out drinking with my friends. I love doing that, but I don't really do it in advance unless it's an occasion.
Yeah.
But going out somewhere, like, oh, the Blue Angels are flying by tonight, Sunday. We gotta make sure that we're there at that time. Like, shit, I have to fucking make sure that 30 minutes before, I have nothing going on.
Right.
Maybe even 45 minutes. Like, I'll sit on the pier with Courtney, which she said the same thing tonight. Thanks for being my pier buddy. Like, we just sit there. I've had to pee my pants like numerous times. Like, but that's what excites me. That's what gets me going. Like, of course, everyone's got their own stick. Like, so.
Well, some people never find it. That's what I've been noticing is, the more that I'm trying to do more things like you've been doing for the last 3 years with Pensacola Vibes, I'm just now getting into a little bit of that, and I realize a lot of people will never get it.
No.
And you seem to be really blessed with a group of friends who really support you in it. Like, you guys really seem to get into the best kinds of trouble together and are always out shooting together, and it's really cool. I mean, it's hard to find people who can be in your corner like that all the time. And that's what I'm learning is that to do something like that when you have a passion that's basically yelling at the world, I'm a little bit different and I'm proud of it.
Exactly.
Watch this.
No fucks given.
And some people, I feel like everyone has that, but some people never find it.
Exactly.
And it's really cool to see you express it that way because you found it.
I tried to.
It's the coolest thing, man.
Thank
It
you.
really is. Like, I'm not, and I said this to some other people because part of my reason for having this podcast is I want an excuse just to have these long form discussions. And I only want to have them with people whose work I already respect.
Exactly. I wouldn't have done it with you if I didn't feel comfortable doing it with you, because I feel like we understand
Yeah.
any kind of creative, like whether or not you mixing drinks, it's an art form.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can connect with someone on a level with that if it's art. I feel like, and I never thought I would ever be like that,
Mhm.
but I can always talk to people on some kind of level to where we can connect, and that's the coolest thing. But like you said, some people would never find that.
Yeah.
That sucks, but that's life's like that sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. And I say all that to say I don't ever want to come across like I'm trying to flatter you or
No,
anything,
no,
because
no.
I'm not. I mean every word of it. It's really cool to see you doing that.
And I appreciate it.
Yeah, and moving forward, I'm just really looking forward to seeing what you do with it. And my biggest problem is that whenever part of just starting a business this year, it's kind of how my brain works at this point. I see it like that, and I can think of 40 different ways you could monetize it. And I have to hold myself back because it's like when they cut Samson's hair, there's something special about the purity of how you do it.
Uh-huh.
And the minute I try to inject too much capitalism into it, I'm just going to like be the rock that stops all the gears.
But you're not the first person that's done that. Like I can't, like there's some people that have come up to me like, you can do big things and you should be doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, but so do you have a lot of people who come to you trying to pitch different ways of growing it or monetizing it? Or?
Not as many as you think, but it happens. It happens, but it's the kind of people that I wouldn't want them to even come close to Pensacola Vibes, because I would want them to come close to Pensacola Vibes when I'm ready to sell it.
Gotcha.
If that would ever happen. Have I thought about that? Yeah. Who the hell wouldn't?
Oh yeah, well, everyone thinks ahead to that sort of thing.
Yeah. Once I hit 20,000 likes, and then all of a sudden I hit fucking 50,000 likes on Facebook, I never would have imagined that. Never. Never.
Have you noticed it become more exponential? Like you made it up the climb to 10. You hit 10,000 earlier this year, right? Because I remember
I can go. I mean, that's the beauty of Facebook. I could go back. Maybe I can find a search to where the keyword. I remember here, like I was doing it for like every 1,000 like.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing you know, I did it for like 20,000. And I know there's some people that say, well, Sean, what should I do? And I swear, like, as soon as I hit the moment to where I just did not care anymore, that's when it went through the roof.
Well, you also did that thing, like Casey Neistat said this about YouTube, and I think it applies here as well. You show up for work every day. Like, you don't take a week between posts and expect people to care. I mean, you are consistent, and consistency is half the battle.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember earlier this year, I got really excited because I saw you got to 10,000 on Instagram. I was like, oh, he got his swipe up for more.
Oh, for the Instagram, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking about Facebook.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
yeah. That was totally this year because it was around Mardi Gras, I think.
Yeah.
I think because Ivy said something and I had no idea what she was talking about. She said something swipe up. I was like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And I was like, oh shit, I can like link products. Like I can actually monetize Instagram now. Like I can actually gain some kind of income from Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's totally. Yeah, it had to have been earlier this year.
So you had like 2 years to get to 10,000.
And then within a year.
And then in about 9 months, you spiked up another 6,000.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
it's a
really
snowball
amazing.
effect. I mean, it's people that I don't know and people that I do know showing their friends, look, check out Pensacola Vibes. Because you can go check out nature trails. You can do whatever you want. Like,
Yeah. I didn't know about Tar Kiln Bayou before you put it on there. I saw your, it was a drone video you did.
Mm-hmm.
When you're kind of floating between the trees going down the trail.
Underrated trails or something like that.
Yeah. And I saw that one shot stuck with me because it was just so fluid and the environment was so
Mm-hmm.
cool. I was like, holy smokes, I didn't know that was here.
And trails make it so easy because it's symmetrical, so it's visually pleasing. So same thing.
Yeah, and it was such a cool aesthetic. I'm like, I need to take pictures
Yeah.
there.
And I
then-
can do anything what anyone else can. All I did was Google it.
Yeah.
And that's all I did. But a lot of people like, you can Google it, but you might not know the words to look for to Google it. And I gained a list somewhat, and I've like Marcus Bayou is the one I go to once in a blue moon. It's not great, but the trail is probably wider than this desk.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, it might be like 7 feet. On a trail, that's maybe 8 feet. It's pretty wide. Like, you can fit a lot on this trail, and that's
Yeah.
like something that looks cool to me. There's all these trees and
Yeah.
snapping turtles, like, all underneath the trail because it's a raised trail.
Nice.
And people, I can tell you right now, like 90% of people in Pensacola have never gone to it.
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
made it to Tarkiln earlier
Yeah.
this year only because a magazine hired me to take some pictures of
Exactly.
it. And I think they found it because of your grid,
Yeah.
because I know you promote it more than anyone else. And this was Atlas Obscura out of New York. I mean, it's a high level publication.
Mm-hmm.
And when they called me and asked me to do it, I wasn't about to say no. But once we had it all ironed out, I said, okay, so why did
Am I
you...
going this random trail?
No, I said, why didn't you look up Sean Mullins and have him do this? Because he knows this trail way better than I do. And they were like, well, you just came up on Google. So we
Exactly.
found you.
That's what I'm saying.
But you have been just the best spokesperson for all these undiscovered places. And what have been your favorites over the last few years, like the places you like to return to?
I mean, someone asked me if I got if Pensacola vibes, if I could keep on doing it, if I get bored of it, doing the same thing, and I don't. And I cycle it through. It depends on how much time I have between work or on my day off, how the weather is. If I have a good amount of time, I'll go to Tarkiln and then Big Lagoon. Like, that's an easy trip. What's it called? If it's close by home, which I live on top of the bridge bar,
Mm-hmm.
it's Naval Live Oaks, either the north or south side.
Yeah.
Jones Swamp, which a lot of people don't go to. Same thing. The one I just went to. It's got a cool ass boardwalk. It's elevated. Like, to be on a boardwalk and then look down,
Mm-hmm.
like, you don't. You'd think you need to go somewhere else to see something like that, and you don't.
Yeah.
Like, literally, like, not to say, say my target audience is everyone. My nature trails are everything. Like, it depends on how much time I have. It depends on the day. Like, UWF is far away.
Yeah.
Like, after going to UWF and then going downtown and then living in Gulf Breeze and then going to UWF, that's like a whole entire day adventure. Like,
Yeah,
it's a lot.
trek.
So, to say what's my favorite one, a Big Lagoon.
Really?
I love going to that, observation tower.
Mm-hmm.
Tarkiln, just because of the plants, the vegetation there.
The pitcher plants.
Pitcher
pretty
plants,
incredible.
yeah. The Naval Live Oaks, they have that cool sand hill.
Mm-hmm.
You can overlook the whole entire bay.
Yeah.
Um,
Butcher's Cove.
yeah.
Yeah. I just found out that was the name looking at
Really?
Google Earth the other day. I was like, oh, cool. Now I know what that is.
I mean, that's the other thing. It's not a nature trail, but I've paddleboarded from the bridge bar to Dead Man's Island.
yeah.
And then taking a drone shot, in my backpack on the paddleboard, going out there. It's a whole entire adventure. And it's little things like that.
Yeah.
It depends. It really depends. But I love them all. Like, seriously, I love them all.
No, that's cool. Has any of them ever, just been the center of a really good memory, like taking friends out there or anything? Like, do you always set out to just like do it on your own, or do you ever like grab some people from Waterboys or whoever's free that day to kind of like make a
There's a lot
make
of
a
people.
fun day out of it?
Like, my buddy T used to work at Waterboys. We went onto the Naval Live Oaks 2 o'clock in the morning. And I brought my camera, tripod, and took a long exposure shot. And he saw, what happened in that photo. And I was like, blew his
Yeah.
mind. And that's the coolest thing. Like, to be in that moment, to bring a friend into
Yeah.
that moment. Like, and then hopefully they take that moment and then do it with themselves and then bring their own friends in and create a chain reaction.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going for.
No, that's cool because it's almost like bringing them into your form of meditation in a lot of ways.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know if you actually meditate or not, but I mean, it seems
I
like
don't, but,
your
like,
photos are part of that.
One of the things is, like, one of my ex-girlfriends, she brought me into the Springs. And because of that, that made me want to go explore. And that was a chain reaction for me, too.
No, That's awesome. And
Yeah.
you have got another account now that you're doing to focus in more on the springs.
Yeah, Panhandle Springs.
Yeah. Now that's
Same concept.
same concept. I mean, they are so different than Pensacola.
Yep.
It's cool to see your take on that because I think your overhead aerial view of Morrison is one of my favorite drone shots you've ever done because it's such a cool outline.
It's
you know?
cool as crap. I mean, it's bringing beauty into things that people don't realize what's around them.
Yeah.
Panhandle Springs. We're all the way Western Gate to the Sunshine State. We're all the way to the west. Panhandle. It's like what? You just say it's like 4-hour drive to where it's not the Panhandle anymore until you hit 75.
Yeah.
And you have so many springs, and like there's so many things to do. Like that's my vacation. Why don't I take my vacation to something as a job? But it's not a job because I love doing what I love to do.
Yeah.
My buddy John Sterrett, who did you meet John before?
I haven't met him yet. I follow him.
He was
on
in the
Instagram.
shop. He was in the shop the other day.
Yeah, I remember that day because you told me I'd missed him by like an hour
Yeah,
when I came in.
he's
for
an
coffee.
amazing photographer. And the same passion.
Yeah.
Same passion. I just gave him rights to the account too.
Nice.
And so hopefully we'll do the same thing.
So is that something you kind of want to do? Is like not just have you, but like a team of people?
Yeah,
who
that's
share
something
that
I want
vision?
to a team because I don't think I can handle that all by myself.
Yeah.
And I don't want to. I want people that share the same thing that I do and like incorporate the same kind of emotion into it because I know what he shot. Like I met him through going to his ring. I've seen him shots. I've seen like we've gone out together. Same ideas. Like it's more about the emotion, angle of the shot. It's not all about money.
Yeah.
So
Well, and he shares your penchant for underwater stuff as well. Like I've really enjoyed following his account because he just seems to have like a really cool take on things.
And he's taught me things.
Yeah, well, I mean that's the beautiful thing is that when you're open to learning from each other, like when you're doing it as a passion project, but there's not a ton of ego involved in it. When you're just doing it because you love it and you like being around other people who love it, that's when the magic happens because that's when you talk to people. Like that's something that I know Adam Moon just enough to talk with him occasionally, and the whole time I've known him, just from the Model Mayhem days to the present, people are always kind of watching him from across the internet, just like, how does he do it? What does he do it? And he just has fun with them. He's just like I think the pictures he took at sunrise of Sydney years ago.
Yeah.
I mentioned those to him. He was like, yeah, man, she went out there, she did the thing, nature did the stuff, I took the picture, it was great. And people say, how do you get
True
your
words
photos?
have never been spoken.
Yeah, I mean, just reduce it down to brass tacks. That's what's happening here.
Yeah.
You're capturing a moment. It is what it is. You either capture it, so people can see it, or your settings are wrong and no one will know what was there.
I mean, haters gonna hate. I mean, the same thing with Pensacola vibes. I've seen people, don't exploit my beach. Bitch, you don't even go to the beach to clean it up. Like, you live somewhere and, like, you want to say that this is your beach, this is not your beach kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm not from here. I'm making this place amazing, and you haven't even gone to any of these nature trails. Like, no one has the credibility. No one has the ownership of anything like that. No one has the ownership of someone's photo is better than yours, so I'm going to talk crap about the model or something like that. Like, I hate people like that.
Yeah.
But dumb people do dumb things. Like I said, don't get it worked up. Don't get yourself worked up. Something like that.
Yeah, and I mean, what's funny is we've got so many good beaches around this area. You go out to Perdido, you've got Johnson Beach, and a few other places. They're open and nice.
Yeah.
Navarre Beach is beautiful, and it's kind of having its own renaissance right now. But it used to be no one went out there at all, and you could have a place to yourself.
Exactly.
And
you saw this own place to yourself. Like I went out to Pensacola Beach when I went to the dunes the other day. There was no one there.
Well, it's the off season. All the tourists have gone home, which is
like
pleasant.
any city. Like I don't know of any city that I can go to a beach and there's no one there. There's still a decent amount of people here. It's just the people love to stay inside the town during the wintertime.
Well, I guess since I grew up here, I remember like the dark ages, like growing up as a kid in the 90s, going out fishing with my dad.
And no one being there.
It was wonderful. Like I wish I could time travel back to that day.
Yeah.
Just to like sit at a distance and watch little me chase my dad down the beach, like carrying a bucket of lures or something, because like back then it was only the locals and there weren't that many locals on the beach.
There's still, I mean, not saying that I know anything that you're talking about, like, but I didn't grow up here, but there are still spots here that are untouched, so to say.
Oh, there still are. There still are.
Fortunately, and I don't want to touch those spots. Pensacola vibes, like
Yeah.
I don't want to.
and I thank you for that
Yeah.
because I know a few of the spots that I'm sure you're talking about, and it's that those are the places where you can get a little magic left.
Yeah.
You didn't used to have to go so far to find them,
Exactly.
which is the difference I see having grown up here. But I say all that to say we have all these nice beaches around this area, but Pensacola Beach itself is still like this gravity well that just pulls people in. Where
it's for the greater good of the city. People want more money. People want more things. So more people are going to come in. People are going to, I don't know, take advantage of the area. So it's going to be inevitable that we're going to have a Chipotle here. So when that happens, I might leave.
that's when we're both gonna be on the street corner with a cardboard sign saying the end is nigh.
Well, yeah, or we'll work for Chipotle.
I wouldn't hate that. They got grass-fed beef.
That's what I'm talking about. Tell me with a good time.
But no, I mean, is that something? I mean, what do you think the beach will be like in a few years if people keep building up and it gets more popular? Do you think it's going to be better for you, harder for the photography, better for the account as a brand? I mean, you see anything going up or down, or are you just kind of riding the wave as it happens?
I mean, it's the whole entire nation. Everyone's going to end up like this. Like, it's going to end up... I mean, there's too many people. There's too many people. Too many people that are too intelligent. They're going to see that this area, like me, is... Not saying that I'm intelligent about it, for the record.
Well, you were smart enough to stick around.
Has potential... has potential to grow and make an opportunity out of this place. And then they're going to have people that have money that are not intelligent. And they're going to just colonize. I'll say colonize this area. Yeah. To where there's going to be a parking garage on the beach. All the places on the beach. No one you're going to be able to park on the side of the road. And that's depressing as crap. And I don't think that's going to happen in a few years. It might happen in 5 decades or 4 decades. But it's inevitable. It's going to happen. Unless you have people in office, political people, that are willing to protect that. But you're always going to have some slip up that once it's done, it's done.
Yeah.
That's what I'm worried. But that's what I'm talking about, Chipotle. I love Chipotle, but I hate like anything like that.
Right.
Thing. Downtown's expanding. It's amazing. I think it's all for the good reasons. There's independent places that are opening up, people that are owning it by themselves. That's how I want to keep it. That's how I think Pensacola vibes should be. It should exploit that, but I don't want things like Moe's popping up in every corner. I don't want Starbucks popping up in every corner. I don't want those competing with Bodacious or something like that. I know Bodacious is technically, it's a chain. I don't know if you want to say that's a chain, but it's for the city. It's not about being a chain. It's not going to show up in every corner of Pensacola and then every other city. I mean, Blue Wahoo Stadium is amazing. That's cool. It's great for the city, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, the difference is, I mean, Bodacious has sister shops in Janesville, Wisconsin.
Exactly, that's what I'm talking about.
But you could still point Quint Studer out of a lineup and say, hey, he's a hometown guy. We know him. Yeah. So, I mean, we don't...
But is he a hometown guy?
Well, he is now.
Am I hometown? That's what I'm getting at.
That's the thing. Like, he is. Like, he made Pensacola home, and he has not been shy in broadcasting. Same with you. Same with you. I mean, and the sad thing is, like, I couldn't even speak to the differences between Pensacola and growing up in New Jersey or Fort Lauderdale. You say Fort Lauderdale, I'm like, well, I have family who lived down close to there once. They live in Miami now. You say New Jersey, all I can think of are Kevin Smith movies. I mean, it's not like I can speak to any real differences, but I mean,
my only relation to there is New Jersey Devils, and I love playing hockey. That's the only thing I ever did, but my passion is Pensacola. I think that would reflect that, and I think Quint reflects as well. But
and that's where, it's no longer just the old timers. It is, once you adopt this city, you're here for a reason. No one in Pensacola is really here by accident. Like, if you're in the military, you're probably going to pass through Pensacola at some point. You just know it. And the people who stay here are the ones who really want to be here. And that's cool. Yeah. It's really cool. And I think that's why there's so much hometown pride, is that people, when they're here, it's because they really want to be here. Because if you work in, one of the major industries, or even one of the smaller industries, like when I came out of college, I had done the comm arts program, and I was applying all over the world to go to New York.
How long have you been watching me for? Have I been your study? You said we would graduate at the same time.
No, No, I think we definitely share some parallels. I think our crazies recognize each other enough that we can have a conversation pretty much any time. But just growing up here, I was tired of it. I was ready to go somewhere else. I wanted to go intern at 0.0 in New York, or work at a TV station in Atlanta, or somewhere else. I had all these lofty dreams of being in a bigger market, working for some big name company. And right that year was right when Pensacola officially felt like it was turning around. And after banging my head against a few walls trying to move away, because I didn't want to move without having a job ready, I was like, okay, I'll stick it out here a while longer and see what I can do.
Yeah.
And that was 6 years ago. I'm still here, and it's only gotten better and
I
better.
feel like somehow whoever got me to see UWF, like that was the start of the boom. Pensacola. Like, I don't know why. I don't know how. Like, literally, I don't know how. I don't know if it was my mom or my dad saying about UW. I don't think they did. But I saw UCF, Florida Gulf Coast. I fucking went everywhere. And then, I don't know why, but UWF showed up.
Yeah.
And I feel like after that, leaving Pensacola and then coming back and be like, man, this place is blowing up. And I don't know if it's because I've been here so long. And I feel like things are changing quickly, but I feel like within the decade, it's blown up.
Oh, totally. I mean, when I first got a camera, it was 2007.
Mm-hmm.
And I went walking downtown because I wanted to take pictures of the architecture, or early seeds of what I'd be doing now,
Yeah.
And it was nothing but for lease signs. There was like a kitchen supply place, and Intermission, of course, which has always been there and will never leave, and a couple other places, Doghouse Deli in their first run before they closed and then came back.
Yeah. I mean, that's a complete reflection, too, of the city.
Yeah. I mean,
even Waterboys, the cafe.
Yeah.
Like the cafe was like a savior of Waterboys, but that's the turning point of Pensacola. It's like people doing things to change, and then they come out on top.
Yeah, and we've seen it. Like, it's gone from this space for lease to, oh, this space is leased and it's doing really well.
And it looks like it's going to stay brouhaha, like any place that you think. Old Hickory.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't tell you the places that I saw in 2007. Like, there's nothing like this has in the city now.
Yeah.
So I think it's on good terms with the city. I think it's going in the right direction. As any person should be worried about anything going bad or it exploding into too many people, everything being oversaturated, the beach being overrun. I think Pensacola has so many people that are very passionate about it that it's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But me being a realist will never bet against anything.
Yeah, I mean,
but I'll be the first person to stop it, though, or at least try to.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into politics. Don't make me Pensacola.
No. I mean, they don't want either of us to get on that topic, to be honest.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
It's like, I promise I won't get all political. 3 drinks later. And another thing.
You said I only mentioned politics twice, so.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'll stop. I'm getting.
This is the third time. I gotta stop now.
Third time's the charm. We gotta cut it off. Everyone gets 3. But no. So does it feel good to be part of the growth, though? Because you've been a part of it.
I mean, I'm part of the growth right now. This is part of the growth.
Mm-hmm.
You are part of the growth.
Yeah. It's weird to think about sometimes when you realize you are a small part of it,
well,
or a large part of it.
You have to have someone to wake you up, like you, to tell me and me to tell you.
Yeah.
It's good though.
It's nice to have something to look forward to. It really is. And on that note, Sean, that seems like a good time to wind it up. So where do you want people to find you online? You want them to follow Pensacola Vibes, or that you want them stalking you on your personal account?
I want them to find me on the streets. I want them to come up to me and say hi. That's what I want.
Do that.
Hell yeah.
All right, y'all. So that's Sean Mullins at Pensacola Vibes. Is it 1 or 2 underscores?
1 underscore.
1 underscore Sean Mullins on Instagram. Follow this guy. Buy him a beer if you see him.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Sean.
Be humble. Be grateful. 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 Be humble.